Hey guys, Chris Americos here with another video for you, and today we're going to talk about 7 places in Russia that you should know. Actually, we're going to talk about 7 different cities in Russia that you should know. And all of these cities I've been to except for one. So I can tell you myself that they're definitely places that you should visit. The first one, of course, is Moscow. It's the capital. You have to check it out. There's a lot of stuff to see in Moscow, and even if you had a whole month to see things in Moscow, you probably couldn't see them all. While there are tons of places in Moscow to see, my personal favorite is Tsaritsino. Tsaritsino, it's basically an old castle on the top of a hill in the middle of a park. This park is really beautiful, and it's really great to walk around there in the summer, or even when it's not so warm out. And St. Basil's Cathedral. But I'm going to tell you that there are a lot of interesting places in Moscow besides the main tourist attractions. So you definitely have to check it out. The second place that you should go is St. Petersburg. This is the cultural capital of Russia, and if you ask any Russian person, they're going to tell you that the most beautiful city in Russia is St. Petersburg. Okay, there are some other beautiful cities too, and we're going to talk about them on this list. In St. Petersburg, you can see a lot of interesting museums, including the Hermitage. But if you go to St. Petersburg, don't feel you're confined just to the city, because not far from the city, just outside the city limits, there are a lot of interesting things to see too. A lot of different castles and palaces of Russian leaders of the past, and probably my favorite is Peterhof or Petergov. You have to check out this place, it's just amazing. The next place you should see is Yekaterinburg. Yekaterinburg is where I live, so I'm a little biased in this aspect. But Yekaterinburg is a great place if you'd like to see Soviet-style architecture or constructivism. Besides that, Yekaterinburg is the 3rd largest city in Russia, depending on the year. Sometimes it changes between 3rd and 4th. And it's the capital of the Ural region. The next place that we have to talk about is Kazan. Kazan is the capital of the Tatarstan Republic, and it's a really beautiful city. Before I had gone to St. Petersburg, I would have definitely said that Kazan is the most beautiful city in Russia. And even considering St. Petersburg, Kazan comes in a close second. Kazan has really been modernized over the past few years, considering different international competitions and international meetings that have happened and that are scheduled to happen in the near future. Tatarstan is a very unique region of Russia. They have their own language, Tatar, and if you travel on public transport, you'll hear announcements made in 3 different languages: Russian, English, and Tatar. Another city that you should visit is Sochi. Now, because of the Olympics that happened in Sochi, this city has really been built up in tourist minds and also in local infrastructure. You can see a lot of buildings and a lot of cool things that were built for the Olympics that aren't used so much now. However, they add a lot of flavor to Sochi. But be careful when you go to Sochi because there are a lot of tourist traps. And if you don't go to Sochi in tourist season, you might find that some restaurants aren't open that are listed as open, or you might find that some tourist attractions operate a little bit differently than when it's tourist season. Sochi is also popular as being a ski resort. You can go to the top of some of the highest mountains right near Sochi. Another city you have to check out in Russia is Volgograd. In Volgograd, you can see the amazing Rodina Mait statue. It's on top of a hill, and you have to kind of go through a labyrinth just to get there. But every step of the way is amazing. The last city that I'm going to include in this list isn't a city that I've been to personally, but I think that everyone should know about it, and it's a good place to visit. Now, I thought for a long time, what's the last city that I can include on this list? I thought about Veliki Novgorod, I thought about Vladimir, Pskov, Tyumen, Krasnodar, Novosibirsk, and when I considered all of these great options, I thought, no, there's one city that stands out and that I need to tell people about. And that city is Kaliningrad. Kaliningrad is a Russian city that's located outside of Russia. Yeah, technically it's part of Russia, but if you look at the map, it's really located in Europe. It has a seaport, but it isn't connected to the rest of Russia. This city's architecture and infrastructure looks a little bit different than the rest of Russia. So if you're considering going to Russia, make sure you check out some of the places that I've mentioned in this video. Don't forget to press like, press subscribe, and leave a comment under the video. Until next time, it's Chris Americos.